Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to draw lips and a nose. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I did is I added a light wash of color on the canvas, and in this case I'm using a green color. You don't have to use green, you could use a normal skin tone, but I just thought green would make the drawing look more interesting. And then I started on the sketch. So once I was satisfied with how the nose and the lips turned out, I went on to the coloring. So I added a light wash of skin tone over the whole drawing, and then I started on the blending. So where the bottom of the lip is, I added green shading going up and blending out towards the middle where there's tan shading. And where the top of the nose is, I added tan shading, and I ended up blending it out towards the middle. So then I was just, perfecting things, shading things more. I just wanted to make the drawing look overshaded because my style is kind of like overdoing things, I guess, and making everything look more exaggerated. So that's what I did. And then what I did is I started on the lips. So I added a solid color of like a pink tone on the bottom lip, and I added more like a magenta purple tone to the top lip. And again, this is like style preference, so you don't have to do this. Oh, and I did end up adding like a salmon shadow under the nose. And yes, the nose does look a bit sick in this case, but it's my style preference. You could just do a normal color if you want. So then I started on shading the lips. So what I did is for the top lip, I ended up shading it with purple tones, with pink tones, but like on the purple side. And on the bottom lip, I ended up shading everything with kind of like a red tone and blending it out. And usually this is how your lips will be like. I mean, of course it depends on your lighting and stuff, but your bottom lip is a bit lighter than your top one. But of course I exaggerated it a lot in this drawing, as I usually do. And it's really important to blend out the sides of the lips into the skin for kind of like a seamless look. And then I started on adding a bit of like line art, fine liner. And I did not end up using a black, even for the nostrils. I did end up using a sepia color, so instead of like black, because it would contrast too much with the skin, I added a sepia color. And because the skin tone is so light, it does contrast a bit, but just enough to like keep the drawing kind of like focused on how everything else is looking like, and the lines aren't so harsh. And then I began on the reflections. So I added a lot of reflections. I know I added a lot, too much, but again, it's style preference. I like how a lot of reflections look like, and I ended up using a white, as I told you guys before. So then I kind of added blush to the cheeks and to the nose, and I was going to originally add more blush, but then I just thought it looked weird, so I did add a lot still, but just enough so it kind of had a seamless flow, because there's already a lot of colors going on with the pink, with the green, with the tan color and everything, so I just didn't want to overwhelm everything. And then I started on the texture of the lips. So for the texture of the lips, I did add a lot of strokes in different colors, and this is just to add a lot of texture. If you don't like how this texture looks like, you could always go back and just end up with the smooth lips. It just matters your style preferences. So I did add a lot of strokes in different colors because I just thought it would look more appealing, I guess, to the eye. You could just use one color, it just matters. So I did end up blending a lot of this out, and I did end up also adding white shadows. Now make sure you're pretty much done with the lips before adding the highlights, because of course then it'll just be, unless you add the highlights on another layer, then if you don't do that, then it'll just be hard to fix the lips with the highlights already on them, because then you're just gonna end up blending the highlights off the lips also and just messing it all up. So the highlights, I just figured, okay, so the whole face has so much highlights that technically I have to add highlights to the lips, or else it'll just look, sad. So I did end up adding a lot of highlights on the lip. So once I finished with the highlights, I was pretty much satisfied with how everything looked like, and I was done. This is how the finished piece turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and if you did, make sure to click that big thumbs up button down below and subscribe to my channel. And I really hope to see you guys next time. Bye!